All right, it's 7 o'clock. It's time for the news for the week of November 10th. This would be week 45 of 2021. And, here's a beer. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. Here's to all the veterans. Seriously, here's to all our veterans. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. I didn't list it officially, but I do want to thank all of our veterans. Here's to our veterans. And I sincerely mean it. There are a lot of military people in our community, in our forum, our chat. They're here all the time, and we love them. We love them. We love what they did. We love the sacrifices they made. I get a little bit of a clamped because I know some of them. I know what they've gone through in ways that are so different and varied. That you know what, for your veterans, let's do this tomorrow. I'm gonna do. Well, I don't know whether I'm gonna watch. I actually watched. I watched. If you want a good veterans movie, I would strongly recommend watching all of Apocalypse Now. So I'm gonna say, maybe watch a movie, a movie in honor, as well as like say something to one, right? But be careful, because I dated a girl who slept with a 9mm next to her bed. True story. Harmony, if you're out there, after I got divorced, and she changed my life in many ways, but I've gained such a deep appreciation for veterans in general, not just through her, but through all the other many veterans who've served. I don't have the guts to serve, honestly. I can't. I would freak out at the blood and everything. I wish I had the courage to do it. I feel like my battle's someplace else, but I know many who fight with battles internally. I met some of them are my friends, and watch Idiocracy. I don't know is it. Do you think Idiocracy is a good way to? I think you should watch Apocalypse Now. Actually, Apocalypse Now. Another one that really fucked me up, but I love it, is Platoon. Platoon. We watched Platoon, and after I watched it when I was probably 16 or 18. We snuck in because we weren't old enough to watch a radar movie, and we sat there, and there were veterans in the audience, you could tell, that just didn't stand up. They sit there forever. Saving Private Ryan is kind of a tamey, Tom Hanksy version of it. It's a really good one. So those are Band of Brothers. Is that a good one? Yeah, if you guys have any ideas, let me know, right? Band of Brothers. I'm not going to put things like, like whatever. What are those like John Wayne ones? John Wayne got ripped a new one. It was actually kind of an interesting story about him trying to get directed. Watch the Steven Spielberg special about the Documentarians. Oh my God, it's amazing. I think it's on Netflix. Spielberg, did I spell it right? Risk of being taken down. Spielberg. Steven Spielberg, the Documentarians. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called. Documentarians. It opened my eyes like I will never understand. Actually, the other day I was trying to watch some of the silly. Did I spell it right? Yeah. So it's Veterans Day. I spent a long time on it, but I want to give more than just a beer salute to them. I've met a lot of them. There are a lot of them that work in IT. There are a lot of them that struggle with working in the corporate environment after having traveled through the hells of war, and we can never understand that. One of the reasons I like Apocalypse Now and Platoon and Saving Private Ryan is because after I and by the way, this documentary, it shows you the footage that the documentarians had to keep out, and you believe me, it's scarring. So be very careful. But I don't know if scarring yourself for life by simulating a war experience is the right way to honor our veterans, but. And honestly, if you want a lighter one, Forrest Gump. I run, Forrest, run. I love Forrest Gump. I love it. Or you could go see you could watch the making of Forrest Gump. Or you could watch Good Morning Vietnam. Oh my God, Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams. Super amazing. Vietnam. These are all great movies. This is 2 hours. Thank you. So Forrest Gump, I left my chat on today. Things are a little bit different today. I realize this mess, I'll talk about it in a second. I'll explain it. So honor our veterans. if you know any, reach a hand out to him. You don't even really have to say anything. Just be there, give him a hug, do whatever it takes. And I mean it. I really deeply mean it. So I mean, there's been so many tragedies. I know of one. I can't dox the details, but I know of one who, he just couldn't hold his marriage together. He was born to be an Army Ranger, and he got a back injury. It stopped him from being the Ranger that he was meant to be, and he got addicted to codeine and then to other drugs, and he wasted away in his life. It's just so tragic. And I'm like saying, you need to make these people into Lieutenant Dans. All right, and that means being their friend no matter what, even when they're mad at you, even when they yell at you uncontrollably, even when potentially they do things that are against their own best interests. We gotta be there for Lieutenant Dan. Okay, all right, next. And if you don't know Lieutenant, watch Forrest Gump to understand Lieutenant Dan. Did you know that Gary Sinise, how do you say his name? Did you know that Gary Sinise is now the official spokesman for at least some portion of the Americans with disabilities? He's actually, thank you for the sub. He's now an official spokesman for them because of his portrayal of that role. And by the way, if you really want to get a handle on Forrest Gump, watch the Netflix special on the movies that made us, that talks about how Forrest Gump was made, because it gets into, the stuff behind it, the history, the veterans and all that stuff. It's actually extremely fascinating stuff. I've always enjoyed making of movies as much as I've enjoyed the actual movies themselves usually. And so those are all, I mean, that's a long time. I spent 10 minutes on that alone, but this is a big deal. Veterans Day is a big deal. We need to really show them that we support them. Showing you support a veteran is not saying that you agree that we should go to war, any specific war. It means that you support the people that put their lives on the line for your country, and that's different. That's different than any fucking political agenda. So that has nothing to do with it. Don't go calling them baby killers or some shit. Certainly, there's been bad veterans who've made horrible decisions under the cause of war. And if you don't believe me, watch Apocalypse Now. Watch Apocalypse Now. If you want to understand the mental pressures on a person going to war, Apocalypse Now. Watch all 3 hours of it, and it is a wild ride. It is a wild ride, and you will love it. By the end of it, you'll go crazy. I love it. He just literally helps you be crazy while right along with the rest of everybody else. And then at the end of it, you're like, oh my God, I think I just went insane like the rest of them. I mean, at the beginning, they're surfing, and at the end, you're like, I'm not even going to give it away. Okay, not only because of his portrayal in that role, but active campaigns on better half of the treatment of vets and their families. Yeah. He did a lot more than just the role. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Taniwa. Thank you for saying that. I'm a Iraq combat vet, and I also hate corporate environments. Yeah. And so, yeah, there, thank you for, acknowledging that, because I feel kind of like I think John Wayne felt. John, if you really want to understand oh God, there's a really, really great 1950s movie that they talk about it in Steven Spielberg when he goes through the war documentarians. The veterans out there actually might like to watch this because it's very specific to to veterans in general. But they go through and they break down how they made the documentaries, how some of them are fake and some of them are real. They go through how John Wayne never served, but then he had to act like a veteran, and he had to be directed by people who were in the war, and the tension that was between John Wayne and the director, because John Wayne ran during that time, he had a constant chip on his shoulder and he wasn't angry. He felt sad because he hadn't participated because he had kids and he decided to not be in a war. It was a big deal. It's just amazing. But there's a 1950s movie that I bought actually, that covers, the returners. There's one gentleman who's got the old school, fake arms, but he's really good with them. He got the claw arms, he can light a cigarette and everything. And it's just an extremely great movie. A documentary about captured Afghanistans. Does it really? Oh, I want to put that one in there. Yeah, let's do that. Yep. Restrepo. Put that there. Yeah. And, and this is another thing. Veterans are very, very welcome here, and we have some of the best technologists of it. We used to call one Sarge. He was my team lead, and he was a drill sergeant And he was one of the kindest people I've ever met, but he was fucking tough as nails. I fucking love you, Dennis. And you know, and he took a chance on me. He let me be a system administrator when I was a software developer before. Hey, Juan. He did. He took a chance on me. He and the others, and I would fuck things up, and he'd be like, "Well, let's figure it out," you know. And he was a fantastic human being. So the tech world is enjoying a tremendous influx of talent from the military. And if you know, the thing I don't understand is why more corporations are not hiring these veterans, because they have so many skills outside. And they cover this in this one movie that was made in 1946. I think it was. I said 50, but I think it was 46. And it actually just deals with that whole thing. So, you know, don't just like barbecue and drink a beer and say, "Yay, you veteran." Seek to understand what it's like to be a veteran. If you really truly believe in Veterans Day, don't just go to the memorial and mourn over your lost veteran family, which you should. But, you know, seek to understand what they went through. And you can never truly know. But the one thing that all veterans need is they need a sense of acceptance, and that only comes through a sincere desire for you to understand, at least to try to understand what they went through. And God help the veterans in 1946 and came back and they just had to shut the fuck up because they couldn't talk about their experiences with anyone. It's just absolute tragedy. In fact, they made a documentary about it, and the American government nixed it and they didn't show it to anybody. They didn't show it to anybody because it was too disturbing, because it was literally interviewing veterans during their PTSD kind of situations. And they decided, no, this is too terrible. We're not going to show this to the American public. So if you have, if you've got balls, if you've got guts, if you've got courage, then at least seek to understand. And I can't ever imagine that I would ever have that level of courage to do that. I wish I could, but I'm going to say that. So I'm going to stop talking now. I just do something, it's like 14 minutes of Veterans Day. Mr. Munich is about hostages and terrorists is maybe not too relevant. I don't know about that one. So a couple let's talk about some lighter things now. So a couple of like trivial things. I don't know if you noticed, but this space here, I'm down here, I'm this little teeny kind of like, oh, hi, that's me. So I've gone back to two things. I'm doing VODs again. So I'm doing VODs and I'm pushing the VODs to YouTube. So I'm getting a little bit more courage there. Hopefully it won't be abused like it has been in the past by trolls. And if it does, so be it. I'll just deal with it. But this is, I think, going to allow our community to be accessible to more people, and I mean community, not just me. I mean, there's a lot of people that I want to find it here, and that means like putting the chat back on the screen. So let me just remind you, if you want to put a hashtag or an exclamation point in front of your stuff, it won't appear in the chat if you don't want it to. If you want it to be in Twitch but not on the chat, it won't show up. I am going to be adding commands with the exclamation point. I just haven't added any yet. So that's all. That doesn't mean you can watch it on the phone, and if you can't, your lunch break is over and that we're in the middle of something you want to do, you can come back on your phone. I noticed this, I've started to watch more Twitch streamers on my phone, and you can just go and say continue watching, and it'll pick up right where you left off, which is the only reason I needed to add VODs, because it makes it extremely convenient for people who start out watching with us live but got called away and wanted to see what happened, and then they can't because there's no VOD, and I feel bad that I didn't have that on for that purpose. I turned them off mostly because personal safety reasons, doxing and shit like that, but I'm going to try to take care of that. In other news, there was a really massive NPM Angular security flaw. You might want to go read about it. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't care, honestly. It's just another reason that NPM is really horribly flawed. And if you're using NPM for production software, you really want to study that and make sure you understand it. It's an upstream security flaw that affected regular React and Angular and a bunch of other stuff. There's a link to it, by the way. So security popular, and this is in the notes. This will be in the notes that you see. What was this one? Oh, right. Somebody reported that I can't remember this one. The registrar had the unintentional debugging credential security alert. Oh, right. I forgot about this one. What is this one? Yeah, I forgot about this one. Yeah, I gotta go read it. Yeah, here it is. So this is from the Register. Cisco warns of unintentional debugging credential left in some network switches can be abused by hijacker equipment. So I don't know why I put this here other than I thought, oh my God, that's huge. So this means that every single Cisco device can be hacked. So, and if they can hack your router, that means you at least want to have encrypted tunnels. So that's really the only takeaway there. Big things happen in security I do like to talk about, but I don't follow security as closely as I used to because I'm more focused on the cloud stuff. Google cuts remote employees. So, I mean, you can Google this and go search it out, but I think this is sort of sad. Google actually just cut the pay, and I can't tell you how stupid I think this is. I've been working from home for 22 years, never had any issue. And Google decided that employees who work from home can lose money. And from what I read, they actually did lose the money. It wasn't they went through. So, you know, I would look into that. And I wouldn't work for a company that doesn't allow you to work remote. Did you find the comparison? Thank you, GB. Here, I'll put that one in the links too. Yeah. Did they have a different vulnerability? Thank you very much for that. This is just stuff I want to make people aware of in the industry. I mean, obviously I can't cover everything, but like the highlights, I try to do that. You can go read it. And I'm not even going to tell you what it's about. I'm just going to tell you it happened. So don't forget this one thing. The rest of it is another one too. I forgot the NVIDIA keynote. So that was today. And somebody told me about U.com this week, and I wanted to, this is something I hadn't seen before, and I wanted to just show it to you and let you go take a look at it. Most of this news is just letting you know about things that are going on and stuff. So yeah, it's a search engine that is private. Go study it, figure it out, see if you like it. I'm seriously thinking about switching my command line search engine to not use DuckDuckGo, but maybe try to use U.com a little bit. Private, I don't buy it. I know. I'm putting it out there, so you can go find it. And then we have the keynote link. Nice. You know what I need to do is I used to have a tool to grab them out of my WeChat, but I don't have anymore. NVIDIA keynote is a thing that happened. Whoops, wrong one. Paste. All right. So, yeah, the NVIDIA keynote is super important. I've been telling. I'm going to give you the TLDR on this since we have like 20 minutes. The NVIDIA keynote will, I hope, make it clear to you that the future of software development is machine learning. And the way I've been describing, you can't really see my hand illustrations, but the way software development is going in the future, if you're trying to decide what to do with software development, or where your company's going to go, or where you're going to go, there's going to be web developers and front-end developers. There's going to be back-end developers that keep everything running, and that's the cloud people and Kubernetes and security and all that. But the bulk of the money and attention is going to be in the middle. And the middle is all about one thing: making machine learning models and deploying those machine learning models in the enterprise. That is where all the money is. And if you don't believe me, watch the keynote. Watch the keynote and look at all the specific examples from several industries, including mine. My company's actually featured in one of them. I can't say which one. Don't dox me, please. That's where it's going. So if you think you're just a data scientist, I need you to stop saying that personally. I'm going to ask you to stop saying it. Because the people that are doing machine learning and data engineering, even though they don't know how to rename a file on the Linux command line, that's a true story from a demonstration that happened. They used Windows Explorer for that, even though they were a PhD in data machine learning and they were showing how to do Helm charts. Incredibly intelligent people who don't know how to use Linux. So I'm speaking to you. If you're a data scientist, which is a title that some people don't like, if you're a data scientist, spend some time to learn Linux and learn, the underlying supporting infrastructure for the stuff that you're doing. But if you're a software developer and you are not, you're like, that's not my thing. I'm not going to learn machine learning. Let me. If you truly want to go into just software engineering development, I'm going to urge you at this moment, including myself, to give it a look. At least try to think about Where is a model that I could train? How would I even train a model? What's the difference between PyTorch and TensorFlow? Why do I care about NVIDIA and CUDA versus AMD? These are terms that you should become familiar with as a software engineer, because more and more and more, the applications that they demoed on the keynote, on the NVIDIA keynote, can't be done through algorithms. It doesn't matter what Stephen Wolfram says on his other Twitch channel. He's kind of bearish. Is that the word? On AI in general, and he's like, no, algorithms still got a lot of strength, and makes sense. He's written many, MATLAB, many algorithmic kinds of things, and we still need them. But whether simulations are actually falling apart compared to the machine learning that can more fully recreate it in the way that nature does. So there's a huge debate in the academic computer science world right now about the value of machine learning, but it doesn't really matter, because the money is that I got a Google Pixel this week. Is that news? I don't know if that's news. We'll talk about it in a sec. But so this Google Pixel, the natural language processing is like me and Adama and Battlestar Galactica in 1978. It's like literally I can say anything into it and it will get it right every time. It is so good through machine learning, for better or worse, that it can do anything. I can point this phone at literally anything in the room or outside, and it will show me a search that matches directly on things that look exactly like that. That's all possible through machine learning. There are manufacturing companies that are using Vulkan to dynamically in real time navigate the docking systems of all kinds of machines that I can't get into, because they're all doing real-time machine learning, or applying a real-time machine learning models to docking mechanisms. So all of these automated docking things that you see in the sci-fi and all that, that's all a real thing. It's all happening. And it's also allowing robots to navigate very precisely into a thing just through doing 3D rendering. And that is all machine learning. So if you want to get into that kind of thing, I really suggest... if it's hosted in US, yeah, I really suggest that you look into it and give it a look. I definitely need to. So, and of course I do infrastructure engineering for and support for a high performance machine learning Kubernetes cluster. That's my current profession, and I've been. If you want to talk more about this at any time, please, stop on in during any time on our schedule, and we'll shoot the crap, and you can watch me do as much of the co-working I can do publicly without giving away the IP of my company. I'm happy to talk about it. And we've had a lot of other people talk about it. I'm just going to make a plug again. We've had the people in charge of the Kubernetes deployments and high-end investment banks. We've had presenters. We've had people who've consulted with the government on security of Kubernetes. We have crazy awesome people in our community, and they're available here to you to tap into. And rdbxrob.tv, twitch.com or twitch.tv/rdbxrob. Come on in anytime if you want to interact with us. And we're here usually most of the time and all the day. And that leads me to the final thing to talk about. So so I have I'm moving fully to IRL variety streaming. So there's been a lot of stuff I've been doing lately. Long and short of it, if you see my personal life, I have we decided we're going to stay here. You probably don't need to know, but my wife got a really amazing sort of invite-only studio membership, and so we're probably going to be in this humble apartment for another year, probably 2. We don't know, and then we know we're going to move to Spruce Pine eventually. But the reason I tell you that is because you're going to see a lot of transformation going on, and stuff that I was kind of waiting to do until later, which includes more camera angles in here in order to show you the Kubernetes cluster that I'm building out of a bunch of old computers and Mac Raspberry Pis and Mac and Mac Minis and stuff like that. We're going to have there's going to be just more random story time with Rob reading from Isaacson's The Innovators and talking about the history of computing. There's going to be more just random partying, cheers, and gaming. And so the channel, if you notice the schedule, the channel's more full of activity during the day. In fact, so much so, I started a new channel. It's not set up yet, but I got the domain for it and everything. It's called it's gonna be called rdbxrob.tv, and that will be just the fish and amber or whatever. And we're gonna actually make it so you can control the fish and try to hook and do different games. It'll be gamified, and it'll be the music on the background. Speaking of which, the music, Rob beats Dr. Seuss. Why not? That's Dr. Seuss right there. If you can't see it, unless it's the unless thing. So, it is true that that your VODs on Twitch will be muted, and you can't put it up on YouTube if you have any music at all. And everybody knows I've been listening to it. So I'm actually going to put something here. Twitch seeking a deal with record industry to remove DCMA. They haven't done it yet, but they're seeking one. And it's kind of part of their whole thing they've been doing. So the main takeaway from that is that Twitch is actually, this impresses me about Twitch. Twitch is actively advocating. I mean, they've been telling people to take stuff down, but it's actually not them that's doing it. They're getting DCMA takedowns, and they're forced to take people's streams down. But they have quietly, sort of semi-quietly on the side, I just found out about this week. It's been around since 2019 or something, but they've been doing it for a long time. They've been quietly promoting the use of copyrighted music in the right medium, and most directly, they contributed to the latest version of OBS. So if you have 26.1 or higher OBS, you can go and just made a video about this. You can go into the settings. You can click on stream Twitch VOD to 2. Did you get it? There it is. And so thank you for the link. Appreciate that. I'm gonna have to put that in there. And so what I'm trying to say is they're not only trying to strike a deal, but they created an OBS thing where they have a plugin for it, but all you have to do is turn off your desktop music, your desktop sound, and that anything, like right now, there's music. There's actually music on right now. It's playing in the background. They can hear it. It's very light, but unless it bleeds through my speakers, because I can hear it, into my mic, it doesn't make it into the VOD. And then the VOD can go up on YouTube and nobody gets pissed. And a lot of times I'll even do a YouTube video and then I'll pantomime the video because I can't, I know that the people who are watching me live get to hear it and everything. I really love this because this means I can DJ music that I've purchased directly from, in some cases, like in Sean Johnson's case, directly from him. And not just I've got their Spotify, I purchased the digital, I mean, I like to try to make sure the artists get their money. And I did a huge video about me and the music industry. It's like an hour-long rant about all the problems I have with YouTube and Twitch and everything. So if you want to understand my ethics on that. But the bottom line is that I can put music on all the time now. And if you don't like it, so if you don't like the music because you want to listen to it in the background and you want to put your own music on, you can use some convoluted way to filter out the music yourself, or you can just wait for the VOD. And if you wait for the VOD, you can watch the whole thing and it'll just be me blabbing the whole time. And you can put your own soundtrack to that, whatever you want, including Benny Hill. You can change it. You can, so if you don't like meditative, you can put Benny Hill, you can put Metallica, I don't care. Just put something else in the background so you can survive. A lot of people don't like music in the back of Twitch streamers, but I like it. Plus I like to be able to listen to it. So that's a lot on that, but I wanted to just let you know about that. That's actually a huge thing. If you can't tell, I'm getting much more bullish, I think is the word. I'm not a stock person on Twitch. I think you guys, God knows I've changed up and down, back and forth, Twitch, YouTube. And oh, I'm going to be dancing. I promise you there's going to be dancing. There's going to be dancing. There's going to be yoga. There's already running and ranting. And the 5K, stay tuned if you want to watch me run the 5K live on November 24th. On November 24th, I've got all the little gadgets and shit to run. Here's my GoPro. I got all the gadgets and shit to run the 5K live on Twitch. So yeah, you can be like, run, Forrest, run, Rob. It's making me healthiher. And it's giving me a chance to rant and breathe better oxygen when I'm outside. I'm trying to find more interesting places to go visit, which is very hard because I don't have a car. My wife's got the car right now. So I'm getting my bikes out of the storage because everyth's in storage because we were planning on moving and we weren't. That's also why if you see any video of my desk, I beg you not to judge me. For the last year I thought we were moving, and obviously that mentality means that stuff piles up. So I have stuff piled everywhere. I just completely went through my entire closet and I fit on all my Patagonia gear again, which was very, very joyful. was a joyful moment. I've been trying to lose weight since this COVID shit, and I finally fit in my Patagonia gear again. So I'm happy. And if you want to watch me, clean clothes and watch movies, tune in tomorrow or whatever. But I'm going to be doing the whole lab out better, including maybe even some sort of boom mic or for yoga. So I know I'm saying it right now. I'm going to be doing yoga eventually. I'm already running with y'all. But I mean, what the hell? I'm at the point where I don't care what you see, and I'm just going to do yoga, be fat old dude doing yoga. You can go watch the sexy girls doing yoga, or you can watch me doing yoga. You decide. That's up to you. I don't care. But it's been fun. I'm in a spectacularly good mood, and on a personal front, my wife's doing great too. And my kids are doing great. The ones I've talked to recently, anyway. And life is good. Life is good. So hopefully, life is good for you. I'm gonna close the news down at 30 minutes in, and come on by and say hi anytime. And with that, I'm gonna take a quick 5-10 minute break, and after that, we're gonna come back and we're gonna do some open AMA. I have several AMA questions that I've been queuing up, and I'm gonna try to answer all those AMA questions. And after we answer those, I'll then turn to the Discord, which, by the way, reminds me, we've been testing live sort of radio shows on Discord, and I actually got this idea from CuteBot. And if you don't know who CuteBot is, you don't know Twitch, right? So CuteBot's like blowing up all over the internet right now. She's this beautiful woman who was a former software engineer. Actually, she dropped out of software engineering as a career to do dating shows on Twitch. And she actually, whether you like them or not, the format for bringing people on in her Discord and interacting with them kind of inspired me to think about a way of doing that. So I'm exploring that. We had I think Narvenda was here. We have a couple people that we tested that with, just with voice. And so I'm tentatively, it's pretty scary, right? I want to be able to do it right. I don't want to get trolled. But we're tentatively going into the kind of talk show news here. I should have some news here soon. Oh, really? Nice. About the Twitch thing. And so we're tentatively going to be doing some Discord interviews, and the AMA time will be the time for that. The AMA potentially during beginner time, but I want to start bringing more of the community on to talk. There are far greater minds in this community than me, and I would rather give them the microphone sometimes, as much as I fucking love this talk. I do. But if we can get them to talk a little bit better and more, and we can bring them in, and not to mention the people who have questions about, hey, what should I do? Should I learn this and that? Some of these AMA questions, if you have the courage to do it. Another one is Toad PhD, which is a guy who paints his face green and rather large human being who goes on completely doesn't care, and he asks all kinds of online advice. If he can do that, why can't we have an online advice show about career futures and tech, and whether you should buy NVIDIA or not versus Dogecoin, etc. These are kind of things that I do want to do. So watch the schedule for that. That is coming. And again, I think it's great because all of these things are kind of gelling together to just be a good thing. And I'm super happy. I'm super happy with that, with how things are turning out. All right, so I'm going to end now. Thank you, and stick around for AMA if you want.